All right, let's dive right in. We're going to talk about something that I'm sure has driven you crazy if you've ever used an AI assistant.
You know what I'm talking about, right? You ask for something super specific, like, hey, what's the submission deadline for that conference? You know the answer is on their website, but the AI just hits a wall. It gives you a vague summary, but it just can't seem to click 3 links deep to find that one little piece of information. So, what's the deal?
Well, here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll look at why current search just doesn't cut it. Then, we'll check out a new, super hard test for AI. After that, we'll meet a two-brained agent built to beat it, see how it did, and finally, talk about what this all means for the future. Sound good? Let's go.
First things first, let's talk about the search engine's limit. It really boils down to how these AIs are grabbing information from the web right now.
Okay, so most AIs use this thing called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG for short. The best way to picture it is like this. Imagine a librarian who doesn't read every book. Instead, they just skim thousands and thousands of book titles to give you a quick answer. It's super fast and it's great for facts that are just sitting on the surface. But it totally misses all the juicy details hidden deep inside the chapters. And that right there, that's the heart of the problem. Today's AI, with its RAG system, is a master of what we call horizontal search. It just skims across a zillion websites grabbing the easy stuff. But the real challenge, the next frontier, is vertical search. That's the ability to dive deep into just one website, clicking through menus, following links, and digging up that info that's buried pages and pages deep.
So, if we want to teach an AI this new trick, how to dig deep, we can't just hope for the best. We need a way to test it. We've got to build a better obstacle course for it to run. And that is exactly where this new benchmark comes into play.
Meet the WebWalker QA benchmark. A team of researchers from Alibaba Group basically said, we need a test for this. And they built one from the ground up, designed specifically to measure that deep vertical search capability. You can think of it like the first real driver's test for web surfing. It's not about what you know, it's about proving you can actually navigate a tricky website to find what you need.
And let me tell you, this is no walk in the park. The questions are tough, they're designed so you have to make multiple clicks to find the answer. Sometimes you're looking for one piece of info on one deep page. That's a single source question. But then, and this is where it gets really hard, sometimes the AI has to find a clue on one page, another clue on a different page, and then put them together to get the final answer. That's a multi-source question. Now, to make sure this test wasn't just some academic exercise, they built it using real-world websites. We're talking about university sites, conference pages, official game wikis, exactly the kind of websites where the one piece of information you actually need is always buried 3 menus deep.
Plus, the web is a global thing, right? So the test itself is bilingual. It's got questions from both Chinese and English websites, making sure the AI isn't just a one-trick pony for English.
All right, so we've got this incredibly hard test. Now we need a champion. We need a new kind of AI that can actually tackle it. And that brings us to the hero of our story today, the WebWalker framework.
So what is WebWalker? Well, at its heart, it's a system designed to make an AI stop just skimming the surface and start acting more like a real human researcher, methodically digging through one website that looks promising.
The secret sauce to WebWalker is what they call a two-brained approach. It's pretty cool. Instead of one AI trying to do everything at once, it splits the work into 2 jobs for 2 different agents. First up, you've got the Explorer agent. This is your energetic scout. Its only mission is to go out there, click on links that look interesting, and gather intel. Then you have the Critic agent. This one's the wise strategist. It sits back, looks at all the information the Explorer brings back, keeps track of the important clues, and makes the big decision. Do we have the answer, or do I need to send the scout back out for more?
It's a really smart setup, right? A team, a scout, and a strategist. But does it actually work in practice? That's the million-dollar question. Let's take a look at the results.
Okay, so when they hooked this up to GPT-4o, here's what happened. Your standard AI agent, something like React, scored about 34%. A more advanced one called Reflexion, which can kind of learn from its mistakes, squeaked by with a 35%. And then, our WebWalker agent. It came out on top with 37.5% accuracy. It's the new champ.
But hold on a second. Let's really look at that number. 37.5%. That's the winning score. Even with the smartest AI model out there and this brand new clever framework, the best we can do is still less than 40%. That just tells you how insanely difficult this problem is
and, well, how much work we still have to do.
So where are they messing up? Well, the paper breaks down the most common mistakes. A big one is the AI just gets lost or gives up too early. Another common failure? It finds the right page but then completely misunderstands what the text is saying. And sometimes it just wanders around for too long and runs out of clicks before it can find the answer.
I know this all sounds pretty in the weeds, but what this means for the future of how we find information online is, well, it's a really big deal. The researchers themselves said it best. The future isn't about throwing out that fast, wide search we have now. It's about combining it with this new, deep-diving ability. The paper says this horizontal and vertical coordination proves effective, and that combo, that's where the real magic is going to happen.
So let's wrap this up. What are the big things to remember? First, finding buried info is still a huge, unsolved problem for AI. Second, this two-brain idea, the explorer and the critic, is a really promising way forward. And maybe the most important takeaway, the future isn't about choosing one or the other. It's about combining them. An AI that can skim the whole web and then dig deep into one site, now that is going to be a true digital assistant.
So that leaves us with just one last thing to think about. Imagine you have this assistant. It never gets lost, it never gets confused, and it can find any little detail, no matter how buried it is on a website. What is the very first thing you're going to ask it to find for you?